Investing in 5 minutes of comfort is the fastest way to lose 5 years. You are not lacking ability. You are lacking a long-term roadmap. Stop. Stop falling into the instant gratification trap right now. This morning you open your eyes. Your fingers reach for the phone on autopilot. Notifications dance. One video, one message, one swipe. 20 minutes vanish like a breath. A day wears thin. A week blurs. A month disappears. You promise later. Later never arrives. Look straight into the mirror. You want a stronger body, a bigger bank account, sharper skills. But your calendar says otherwise. It worships right now. It gives instant rewards, then they evaporate. It buries you in the loop. Start, quit, blame yourself, start again. You are not lazy. You are being steered by short-term design. Apps light up in red. Content is endless. Your brain begs just a little more, and your dreams slow down bit by bit. But hold on. What if there were a switch to change course? What if it took just 24 hours to shift from instant reflexes to a long-term system with a real roadmap? Would you dare trade one day to redeem 5 years? I am here to walk with you, not to preach. I know what it feels like to owe work, feel drained, and hide inside a screen. I know the fear of falling behind when you watch others hit turbo. And I know one more thing. The long game does not belong to the lucky. The long game belongs to the ones with a system. Today we rebuild your system. A 5-year lighthouse so every decision has a direction. A 90-day roadmap so the mountain has steps. An environment free of temptations so willpower does not have to fight alone. Calendar-based discipline so the chain stays unbroken. A feedback loop so every week you become a little better. You will not hear empty theory. You will get your first steps inside this video. 3 small moves, 10 clear chapters, and 1 line repeated until it becomes instinct. Breathe deep, lift your head, begin. Picture 5 years from now you are calmer, your money is stronger, your skills are deeper. Not because of luck, because of today, because of right now. Stay until the end. Your pivot starts right here, and it locks in with a single sentence. I buy my future freedom starting today. Chapter 1. Diagnosing short-term thinking, identifying the enemy of the long-term mindset. A hard truth. You are trading 5 years for 5 seconds. You do not even know you are signing that contract every day. Morning, eyes open. Your hand touches the screen before your memory wakes up. 5 minutes evaporate like steam. Midday hunger. You choose fried takeout instead of the lunch you made. Tastes good, now feels heavy this afternoon. Evening fatigue. You promise I will work out tomorrow, then tomorrow looks exactly like today. That is short-term thinking. Not evil, just dangerous when it drives your entire life. Short-term thinking chases hot emotions. Long-term thinking seeks steady value. Heat flares, then dies. Warmth builds slowly, then lasts. Short-term is fireworks, dazzling, gone in the cold wind. Long-term is a charcoal hearth. Small, steady, deep, it warms the entire room. What do you choose each day? Do you choose the crowd's gaze or your own judgment? Do you choose the noise or the direction? Picture 2 versions of your life. Version 1 serves right now. Version 2 serves 5 years from now. Version 1 measures today by feelings. Version 2 measures today by evidence. 1 is a wave. 1 is the shoreline. 1 is get it over with. 1 is get it right. It is not that you lack time. You lack a compass. The compass is called a 5-year vision. It is not that you lack motivation. You lack rails. The rails are called a fixed schedule. You say you are busy. I believe you are busy. But busy is different from effective. Busy means your hands are full. Effective means your future gets paid. Which one are you choosing? Now think about this. Why is the short term so seductive? Because it gives the reward right now. 1 swipe for a feeling of novelty. 1 purchase for the feeling of having bought something. 1 excuse for the feeling of being less guilty. But hold on, feelings are never proof. Feelings are weather. Proof is a season. Weather changes by the hour. Seasons change with repeated choices. Short-term says, do what makes you comfortable right now. Long-term says, do what makes you free for a long time. Not comfort now, but freedom later. Not heat, but warmth. Do you see yourself in these moments? Writing you open another tab? Reading you turn your notifications back on? At dinner, your eyes stay on the screen. In conversation, your mind is in another room. You are present, but you are not there. Short-term thinking does not only waste time, it erodes your identity. It teaches you to believe that you do not keep your word. Every time you promise then quit, you carve a sentence into your brain, I am the kind of person who cannot go the distance. Long-term thinking says something else. I am the kind of person who stores small pieces of evidence every day. Identity is forged by habit, not by wishes. Examine 3 areas: health, money, skills. What is short-term in health? Sleeping late, grabbing fast food, working out on some days but not others. The result is jagged energy. What is long-term in health? A set bedtime meals planned in advance, small but consistent training. The result is a body that runs like a quiet machine. What is short-term in money? Swiping the card for the hit of I deserve this, patching holes at the end of the month. What is long-term in money? Pay yourself first, then spend what is left. Compound interest flows like a river, slow and deep. What is short-term in skills? Skimming new courses for the feeling of I am learning, not practicing long enough to get good. What is long-term in skills? Pick one lever and pull it every day. Learn, try, get feedback, repeat. You hear this and it feels heavy. I understand. Because the long-term is not flashy at first. Long-term is planting a tree. You sow today, there is no shade tomorrow, but the day after there is. Here is the trap. You want the feeling of making progress. So you choose actions that create that feeling, not the result. You tidy your desk for a very long time. You color code your notebooks. You watch 2 more videos on how to study effectively. You are busy like a runner moving backward. High speed, wrong direction, tired and getting nowhere. Try a counter sentence. Not more things, but the right direction. Not knowing more, but practicing deeper. Not a little of everything, but one thing to the end. These counter sentences are scalpels. They open up fuzzy habits. Now look at your North Star. One question only. Does this serve me 5 years from now? Ask that before you press the button. Before you reply to the message. Before you add another meeting. It is not a command. It is a filter. It is the gate every choice must pass through. If the answer is no, you just saved an hour from being picked apart. You just defended the long road. You may ask, but will I still have fun? If I keep thinking about 5 years, will I lose the present? Here is the answer. Long-term thinking does not kill fun. Long-term thinking chooses a different kind of fun. Instant fun is fireworks. Long-term joy is sunrise. One is loud, one is quiet. Instant fun is applause right now. Long-term joy is respect that lasts. One is clapping, one is trust. Long-term thinking does not force you to give up everything. Long-term thinking asks you to choose your ratio. Less heat, more warmth. Try a small mental test. If I repeat this action 365 times, who will I become? If I skip this action 365 times, what will I lose? That question is a rearview mirror, and it is also a windshield. It shows you the past and it pulls you forward. I want you to feel one thing. Long-term is not wait until later to live. Long-term is live today in a way that protects tomorrow. That is a different feeling, not jittery, but at peace, not impulsive, but intentional. You will hear the whispers. Just enjoy yourself. Life is short. True, life is short. Because it is short, do not waste it on swipes that leave no memory. Also true, enjoy it, but enjoy what you will be proud to remember. You need one picture to carry with you. A lighthouse set on the horizon. Each day you take one step toward that light. The light is a healthy body. The light is an account with a freedom fund. The light is skill deep enough to choose your work, not beg for it. When you are lost, look up. Ask the 5-year question again. The light appears. When you are tired, slow down. Going slow is fine. Stopping completely is the danger. You may still hear the short-term calling. Smile at it. Let it pass like a cloud. You do not need to clamp down for life. You only need to choose again and again. You only need to remember whom you serve. You serve your future self. You serve the person who will say thank you to you later. You serve freedom. By now, something may have cracked. An old belief, an old habit. If it cracks, let it crack. Light will pour through that seam. The light is called understanding. We have not done anything yet. We have only seen clearly. And clarity itself is the first step toward freedom. In the next section, we will turn vision into simple living standards. No slogans, just rules written into your calendar. You will see the long road appear like a lane with white lines. I buy my future freedom starting today. Chapter 2. Defining long-term thinking standards, not inspiration. You do not fall behind because you lack goals. You stumble because you lack standards. When the mood hits, I do it. When the mood fades, you drift. Results are scattered and never compound. In this section, we will turn the long term into something you can hold in your hands every single day. You will write 3 clear standards, choose 1 minimum standard, and lock a 7-day schedule. You will walk out with a system you can live by, not a slogan. But wait, is inspiration the enemy? No, inspiration is a guest. Standards are the host. Inspiration is weather rising and falling by the hour. Standards are climate shaping the entire season. You need the climate so you do not get fooled by the weather. Not emotions, but standards. Not waiting for a perfect day, but creating the right day. Not counting inspired days, but counting kept the standard days. Picture this: a morning in the United States, coffee in hand, a jam-packed calendar. You will win this day because of standards, not because of luck. What is a standard? A short, measurable, repeatable line that anchors the long term. For example, sleep 7 hours, walk 20 minutes, study 20 minutes. Standards do not show off. Standards do not need applause. Standards simply need to be done every day. Not bigger goals, but better standards. Not noisy plans, but quiet rules. Not more hype, but more proof. Now think about this. How many times have you promised to do more? How many beautiful to-do lists have you written and then abandoned? Here is why. A to-do list answers what to do. A standard answers how much is enough. When you know enough, you stop self-punishing. When you know enough, you start compounding. When you know enough, you can go the distance. Look at 3 domains: health, skills, and finances. These 3 pillars hold up the whole house. Short-term in health is sleeping late, eating on the run, and training some days but not others. Long-term is a set bedtime meals decided in advance and small but steady workouts. Your health standards should be simple and repeatable when life is busy. Short-term in skills is collecting courses. Long-term is deep practice on one lever. Your skills standards are minutes of study and small pieces you publish. Short-term in money is swiping the card for the hit of "I deserve this." Long-term is paying yourself first and only then spending. Your money standards are a saving percentage and set times to study finances. You may say, "I like flexibility." I understand. Flexibility matters, but be flexible on top of standards, not instead of standards. Not rigid but clear. Not constricting but structured freedom. Not more but the right direction and steady. Imagine 2 runners. One runs by feeling, one runs by a 20-minute standard. On a rainy day, the first one stops. On a rainy day, the second one climbs stairs at home. After 90 days, it is obvious who is more durable. So we choose a minimum standard. The minimum standard is the bridge between a busy life and the long term. When you are busy, keep the minimum. When you are free, go beyond the minimum. You do not lose because you run a little. You lose because you break the chain. You do not lose because you had a bad day. You lose because you threw away the week. The minimum standard keeps the chain alive. Now it is time to write your standards. Pick up a pen, open a note, and count down 3 minutes. Write straight, no sugarcoating. Health, sleep from 11 at night to 6 in the morning. Walk 20 minutes, drink 2 bottles of water. Measurable, doable, repeatable. Skills, study 20 minutes, practice 20 minutes, publish 1 idea of 100 words. Do not show off, just record it and press send. Finances, set aside 15% of income, study finances for 30 minutes, record 3 lines of spending. Not complicated, just consistent. You see it, each pillar has 3 pieces. The rule of 3, manageable and easy to remember, but you only need one piece to maintain the chain each day. Choose one single minimum standard. Walk 20 minutes or study 20 minutes or go to sleep before 11 at night. Choose the easiest one for you right now. Not make it perfect, but make it daily. Not all at once, but one at a time. Not intensity, but consistency. You ask, what if it rains or snows? If it rains, walk indoors. If you are stuck in traffic, stand up and stretch for 5 minutes, then walk after dinner. If you are too tired, keep 10 minutes. Keep the rhythm, then build back up. Do not let 2 days break in a row. Now we lock the calendar. Standards need a place in your day. Without that place, they get washed away. Open Google Calendar. Create an event called Minimum Standard Time. Set 20 to 30 minutes, repeat for 7 days. Reminder 10 minutes before. Give this event its own color. Green for health, blue for skills, yellow for finances. Color is a signal, and signals help your brain remember. Add one line in the notes. If busy, do the 10-minute version. Do not force it. Just change the number. Add a reminder at 9 at night. Did I keep the standard today? One question protects the entire chain. You think this is small. Yes, it is small. But small repeated actions are compound interest. In the United States, the calendar is packed, work is heavy, kids need you, and distances are long. Standards keep the day from dragging you. Standards tell you, this is my time. You will hear the usual lines. I will do it when I am free. Let me get organized first. But wait, when I am free usually never arrives. Let me organize first is often procrastination wearing a suit. We replace the lines. I will do the 10-minute version right now. Once done, I can organize more. Not emotions, but standards. Not waiting for a perfect day, but creating the right day. Not hanging hope, but blocking time. You want more measurable examples? Good. Write these down and use them now. Health, 7,000 steps, 40 push-ups, no drinks after 8 at night. Skills 1, 100-word summary, 20 minutes of practice, 1 piece of feedback received from a mentor, finances 1 automatic transfer on Monday, 1 bill recorded immediately, 1 10-minute reading session. Simple with numbers with a checkbox. You say I am afraid I will not do it well enough? Give me your enough for 7 days only. After that, we will talk about better. Enough first, better second. Chain first, quality second. Keep the rhythm first, raise the standard later. Long-term thinking is an identity. I am the person who keeps a small standard every day. This sentence is stronger than I will try. So we add a label. Stick it on your mirror, your laptop, your refrigerator. Every day I keep my minimum standard. You may feel it is boring, but the right kind of boring is a superpower. The durable person is the one who knows how to repeat. Not new tricks, but old truths. Not motivation, but mechanism. Not fireworks, but a fireplace. Sometimes you will break a standard. A party night, a headache day, a week of travel. Stay calm and return to the minimum the very next day. Set the never 2 in a row rule. Skip today, not tomorrow. You will watch the chain come back to life. You want the feeling of progress. Measure with check marks, not with moods. A check mark is the small light at your feet. Each check mark is 1 step toward freedom. Each week with 7 check marks is a rest stop. Each month with 4 good weeks is a beautiful bend in the road. Now think, which of your standards is still fuzzy? Rewrite it clearly tonight. If you are not sure, choose walk 20 minutes. Your body is the foundation of everything. When the body is steady, energy is steady, and decisions are steady. Or choose study, the main skill, for 20 minutes. Skills create opportunity, not just wishes. You do not wait for opportunity, you prepare for it. Or choose set aside 15% before you spend. Money is not free if you do not write the rules. Rules lead, freedom follows. I know you do not like stiff rules, so give yourself a warmer version. Call your standard a small commitment to myself. A small commitment does not scare you. A small commitment gets you to start, and starting is the hardest part. Use the if, then formula. If it rains, then walk indoors. If you are on a business trip, then review finances for 10 minutes at 9 at night. If the schedule breaks, then do the 10-minute version before bed. If you are tired, then lie down and take 20 deep breaths before deciding. If you forget, then set a repeating reminder for tomorrow. See it. Standards let you choose in advance. Choose in advance so you are not dragged later. Choose in advance to protect your identity. Now lock it in. Open your calendar and set. Keep the minimum standard at 6:30 in the morning every day. If you are a night owl, set it for 8:30 in the evening. Set a reminder 10 minutes before. Give it a dedicated color. Add the note, if busy, do the 10-minute version. Done. Simple, yet completely different from the old day. The new day now has rails. Tonight before you sleep, answer one question. Did I keep the minimum standard? If yes, mark a check. If no, do the 10-minute version right now. You are rewriting your brain. You are retraining your reflexes. You are moving from wishes to evidence. Tomorrow, do it again. The next day, the same. In 1 week, you will believe you are different. Because new belief follows new evidence, not the other way around. That is what long-term thinking reminds us. You may see others moving faster. Do not compare racetracks, compare standards. Keep your standard every day. There will be days when inspiration returns. Let it add fire to the fireplace. But the fire keeps burning because the fuel is your standards. When someone asks for your secret, you smile. There is no secret. There is only a small standard, steady and strong. Right now, write your 3 standards. Choose one minimum to keep every day. Lock a 7-day repeat on your calendar and start tomorrow morning. Tonight, place a note on your desk. Keep the standard, not the mood. One line is enough. On the day you keep the standard, you win. On the day you miss it, you learn. The next day you do it again. In the next section, we will clear short-term temptations so your standards have a clear path. You will learn how to reset your desk, your mind, and your sources of addiction. When the environment stands on your side, the standard becomes second nature. I buy my future freedom starting today. Chapter 3, Disarming Instant Gratification. Reset the desk, reset the mind, reset the triggers. A hard truth, you lose the battle in the first second because the room beats you before you even begin. Bait is laid out, red flashes, blink sounds call your name. Your willpower is only a guest in a house you did not design. Today we change who owns that house. You will stop making willpower fight the environment. You will design the environment to win from the start. But wait, why is the environment so powerful? Because the brain loves shortcuts and quick rewards, and your room is packed with shortcuts. Picture this. Your home screen is a 24-hour candy store. Your hand only has to reach and you get a 5-second thrill. You are not weak. You are living in a minefield of stimulation. Applications blaze red, tabs stay open, snacks sit within reach. You lose before you start. Not resisting, but removing the mines. Not relying on willpower, but relying on design. Not praying, but rearranging the space. So we begin with the first thing you see, the home screen, the gate that leads straight into every temptation. Turn that gate into a clean hallway. Only 4 icons that serve your long-term goals. 4, no more. Now think, which 4 icons help you go the distance? Work, email, calendar, notes, reading application, or a training application. Pick 4 names in your mind. If you are unsure, choose calendar notes, a reading application, and a practice application. Then we do this in 5 minutes. Open your phone right now, hold the icons and move them off the home screen. Drag everything addictive to the second page or into a folder called After 8 at Night. This takes only 5 minutes, but it moves a gate inside your brain. You no longer have to defeat yourself each time you unlock the phone. Not rigid, but smart. Not closing the door to life, but opening it at the right time. Not hating technology, but drafting it onto your team. The bait is not only on the phone, it also lives in the browser. Sites pull you like a fast river. So step 2 is blocking. Block 5 time-sucking sites from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening. Work hours are for work, not for drifting. Use a common website blocking extension. Choose the 5 names you know you wander into. YouTube Shorts, TikTok on the web, endless news sites, social media, online shopping. Set the window from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening. If you need to watch after 8 at night as a controlled reward. You are training your brain to wait for rewards at the right time. Not the absence of pleasure, but scheduled pleasure. Not zero screen time, but smart screen time. Not force, but framing. People say you lack discipline. The truth is, you lack guardrails. Discipline grows quickly when the guardrails are in the right place. Now, the third piece. What is your desk saying to your brain? Is it saying begin or is it saying wander? A messy desk is another feed. Every object is a tab. Every tab is a chance to drift. Build a work tray, one simple tray, 5 essentials. Water headphones, a 3-item to-do list, a notebook, a pen. Why a tray? Because a tray creates a starting ritual. The ritual clears noise and tells the brain it is time to work. Water stops you from standing up for no reason. Headphones close the door on outside noise. A 3-item to-do list gives the brain rails. A notebook catches falling ideas. A pen lets you write instead of opening another tab. 5 items, 1 tray, 1 signal. But wait, what if space is tight? A small plastic basket works as a tray. What if you work at a cafe? Pack the 5 items in your backpack by compartment. When you sit down, open the basket and the tray appears in 5 seconds. You will feel this shift. Your brain calms when it knows what to do. Feelings interrupt less once the ritual starts. Not hanging hope, but blocking time on the calendar. Not waiting for inspiration, but starting with the tray. Not chasing noise, but listening to the work. Now think, when you drift online, do your hands move before your mind? Do you click before you have time to ask why? Add one more visual guardrail. Place a question where you can see it. Does this serve me 5 years from now? The question does not scold. The question turns on a yellow light. Your brain gets 1 beat to choose again. The environment also has scent and sound. Choose a scent that makes you want to begin. A light tea candle, a gentle coffee aroma. Choose music without lyrics to set the rhythm. Low fidelity piano ambient. The fewer the words, the easier it is to focus. You do not need perfect. You need consistency. You need one startup kit that is the same every day. You may think, I will still open the tab. Yes, old habits will push back, but the new guardrails will grind them down. Try the 2-count rule. Whenever you want to open an addictive tab, count 1, 2. If you still want to open it after 8 at night, or write down the reason you want to open it. Stressed, bored, stuck. Once named, return to the first item on your to-do list. Not hiding feelings, but naming them. Not pouring in more stimulation, but pouring in more clarity. Not fighting in your head, but moving the battle to paper. So, build a signal board. 3 lights: green for doing, yellow for resting, red for wandering. Flip your own switch whenever your state changes. Childish. The brain loves simple signals. The child in you will understand and cooperate. Now for the kitchen reset. Grab-and-go snacks are the body's bait. Sugar and salt make the brain ask for just a little more. Do not ban everything. Change the position. Healthy foods at eye level. Fun foods move to a lower shelf. Place a large water bottle right at the kitchen entrance. The environment decides 50% of food choices. 10 minutes of shelf swapping changes the game. On busy days, you still win because the guardrail stands there. You may ask, must it be this strict? No, we keep a release window. From 8 at night onward, you can enjoy with control. Call it the ticketed unwind hour. A ticket means you completed the day's checklist. No ticket, no entry to the fun zone. Not forbidding, but tickets. Not random, but rules. Not guilt, but a guardrail. Now fuse 3 actions into 1 startup block. 5 minutes to clean the home screen. 3 minutes to turn on the blocker. 2 minutes to set up the work tray. 10 minutes total. A different morning entirely. The environment goes first and clears the lane. Your feeling about willpower will change. You will feel disciplined without strain, because the rules live in objects, not in your head. Right now, make a quick red list. Write your 3 strongest lures: applications, websites, foods. Then write 3 counter moves. Hide the icon block by time, change the location. 1 line for each item is enough. Place that list under your keyboard. Each morning when you power up, look at it first. Your mind will choose correctly on the very first click. Imagine 1 week later, your screen is quiet, your desk is clean. Less input, clearer output. You control what reaches your eyes, your ears, and your mouth. Work flows straight instead of leaking away. 1 month later, you notice something strange. You need less motivation because the environment has become default motivation. You did not turn into someone else. You just stopped shooting yourself in the foot. You go farther with the same effort. If you have a day when you break the rules, stay calm. Return to the 10-minute environment startup. Lock the doors again, reopen the track, and keep running. When someone asks for the secret point to your room, there is no magic, only guardrails in the right places. Now think, what does your 5-year vision want to see on your desk? What does it want to see on your home screen? Arrange things so that future you smiles when looking at today's room. That is how you say, I respect myself. That is how you buy back each lost hour. End the day with a shutdown ritual. Turn off the music, reset the tray stick, 3 to-dos for tomorrow in view. Tomorrow morning, you open your eyes and the path is already laid out. You no longer start with a hard choice. You start with a step that was decided last night. You simply step onto the rails you placed. Little by little, you will feel a quiet settle in. Quiet in your head, quiet in your room. When the room is quiet, the future speaks more clearly. You can hear the call of the long road. You follow it day by day. I buy my future freedom starting today. Tomorrow, we will not only clear the lane, we will raise a 5-year lighthouse to guide every choice. You will learn to make your vision the standard for each decision. Chapter 4, A 5-Year Vision, the Lighthouse for Every Decision. You do not get lost because you lack a map. You get lost because you lack a horizon. Without a clear picture of the next 5 years, you are swept away by this week's tasks. Today we light the lighthouse so every decision has a direction. You will leave this chapter with a 200-word letter from me 5 years from now. You will choose 3 clear pillars for your life. You will attach measurable numbers so you no longer live blind to the data. But wait, what if you fear you are imagining something unrealistic? We are not drawing clouds, we are planting stakes. We are not hanging slogans, we are writing rules. Do not ask, what do I want? Today ask, does this serve me in 5 years? Not mood, but mission. Not comfort now, but freedom later. Picture an afternoon in the United States traffic jam, inbox full. Without a lighthouse, you turn wherever other people's lights tell you. With a lighthouse, you stay in your lane, even in the rain. A 5-year vision is not a poster on the wall. It is the filter before every press of send. It is the question before every extra meeting. Now think, who do you want to become at the 5-year mark? What do you want to protect at the 5-day mark? If you do not answer, others will answer for you. Their calendar will swallow yours. Their goals will rent your time. We start with a very short letter. Writing clearly helps the brain choose correctly. Words force the picture to stand upright. Set a 10-minute timer. Write 200 words, no polishing, no stopping. Begin with hello to me in the present. Describe 3 specific scenes. 1 scene about your body, 1 scene about your work and your skills, 1 scene about the relationship you value most. Describe it as if you are filming it. Short, clear, with sound and scent. Example for the body, I wake at 6 in the morning. Sleep is complete, my shoulders and back feel light. I run 3 miles, which is about 5 kilometers. My breathing is smooth, my mind is clear. Example for work, I publish consistently with a circle of readers who trust me. I choose projects because they match my values, not because of fear. Example for relationships, Friday evenings are no screen time. We take a 20-minute walk and tell each other what we learned. Why only 200 words? Because short forces you to choose. Choosing means priority. Priority means living awake. Not perfection, but consistency. Not pretty words, but honest ones. Not sprinting across sentences, but driving in stakes. When the pen stops, read it aloud once. Listen for any hazy parts. If it is hazy, replace it with a number or a scene. Now come the 3 pillars: health, career, and skills. Relationships and community. Why 3? Because 3 can lift the whole house without overloading it. Once you choose pillars, attach numbers. No numbers, no truth. No measurement, no progress. What numbers for health? Bedtime steps, training rhythm. For example, sleep from 11 at night to 6 in the morning. 7,000 steps, 3 workouts per week. What about career and skills? Study time, practice time outputs. For example, study 20 minutes, practice 20 minutes, publish 100 words. What about relationships? Minutes of deep conversation, scheduled dates, acts of kindness. For example, 20 minutes of no-screen conversation, 1 date per week, 1 thank you each day. Not vague wishes, but visible numbers. Not someday goals, but daily levers. Not applause, but evidence. You may say, I do not like being constrained. Numbers do not constrain you. Numbers set you free. They free you from the fog of, I think I did a lot. Pin the numbers to your calendar. Every metric needs a place to live. Without a place, it gets washed away. Set sleep time as an all-day event. Set 20-minute study block right after the golden block. Set 20-minute walk after dinner. This way, each day becomes a ballot cast for the next 5 years. You vote by doing the thing, not by remembering or forgetting a feeling. Picture the next 2 weeks. You keep small numbers, but you keep them steadily. You begin to trust yourself. New belief comes after new evidence, not the other way around. That is why we attach numbers. But wait, what if your day falls apart? Return to the minimum. Do a 10-minute version and check 1 box. Do not self-blame. Self-adjust. Do not look back with guilt. Look back with data. Do not throw away the week. Save today. Return to the 200-word letter. Circle the 3 sentences that make your heart beat slower. That is the signal of the right direction. Why beat slower? Because calm is a sign of identity alignment. When identity fits, it lasts. Add 1 gatekeeping line. Does this serve me 5 years from now? Place it right in front of your keyboard. This line is the guard at the door. It turns on a yellow light before you say yes again. It shields your energy from unnecessary commitments. Now refine each pillar. Health first, because the body is the foundation. When the body is steady, the mind is calm, and the work can go deep. Write 1 feeling-based goal sentence. I want to feel light and sleep deeply. Then convert it to numbers. 7 hours of sleep, 7,000 steps, 3 workouts per week. Simple, measurable on the calendar. The result is energy with a lane to run in. Next, career and skills. Write a feeling-based line. I want to do meaningful work and be trusted. Convert it to numbers. Study 20 minutes, practice 20 minutes, post 100 words. In the United States or anywhere else, evidence is still the output. Next, relationships and community. Write a feeling-based line. I want to be closer to the people I love. Convert it to numbers. 20 minutes of deep conversation, 1 date per week, 1 thank you each day. Not noisy, just warm and steady. Not more talking, but deeper talking. Not many friends, but trusted ones. Not flashy, but faithful. Now think, if you keep these numbers for 90 days, what changes? Mornings get clearer, evenings get warmer, work gets deeper. You may still fear, what if I am having fun and then I have to go walk? Remember, instant fun is fireworks. Long-term joy is sunrise. Fireworks blaze and then go dark. Sunrise rises slowly and keeps you warm all day. Which one do you want to live with? Add 1 small military step. Set a 15-minute Sunday review. Open your weekly calendar and type the numbers you reached. Type them by hand so the brain records them. Look at the 3 rails: health, skills, relationships. Where one is off, nudge it next week. Do not punish, correct. Do not threaten, guide. Do not retreat, refine. If you work on a team, share your 200-word letter with a trusted friend. Do not brag. Simply say, this is my lighthouse. You will feel your back straighten when you say it out loud. You can also print the letter, fold it in thirds, and keep it in your wallet or on your laptop lid. When you are tired, open it, read, slowly breathe deeply. Do not forget to update versions. Every 90 days, edit 1 or 2 sentences in the letter. We grow into the words we choose. Picture your desk. The 5-year question on a sheet right in front of you. 3 small numbers in the calendar, 1 checkbox each day. Your mind knows the route. Your hands know the work. Your heart does not have to strain. Not louder goals, but quieter guidance. Not chasing, but choosing. Not urgency, but clarity. You may ask, may I set big goals? Yes, but break them into daily levers. If you do not break them down, your brain will get scared and dodge. For example, write a book becomes 100 words per day. Run a half marathon becomes 3 runs of 20 minutes. Strengthen the family becomes 20 minutes of conversation on Friday evening. In this way, you turn a mountain into steps, steps into footsteps, footsteps into a familiar path. If the chain breaks, return to the core question. Does this serve me 5 years from now? If yes, begin with a 5-minute session. 5 minutes is the wedge. Press the wedge in and the door swings open. Once the door's open, continuing is not so hard. Therefore, tonight do 3 things. Write a 200-word letter to yourself. Choose 3 clear pillars. Attach simple metrics and lock the calendar. Give each one a checkbox, and that is it. Short, clear, doable. Tomorrow, open your eyes and read the letter. Read it like a message from an older friend. That friend is you in the future. That friend is waiting for you at the end of the road. That friend says, keep going slow is fine. That friend sets a hand on your shoulder and smiles. Do you hear the surf? That is everyday life crashing around you. But out there is the lighthouse. When confused, lift your head. When tired, slow your pace. When happy, still keep the numbers. One day you will notice this. You do not need to argue with yourself anymore. You only need to ask the lighthouse. And the lighthouse answers with calm. The calm of someone who knows the way. The calm of someone who no longer fears missing out. Tomorrow we will break the long road into 90-day stations. The path will become a marching map. You will have 3 anchor moves for the first sprint. I buy my future freedom starting today. Chapter 5, a 90-day roadmap. Break the long road. So you do not quit. You do not quit because you are weak. You quit because the mountain feels too far away. A 5-year goal stands like a ridge of stone while today is slippery underfoot. You look up once, sigh, and your feet stop moving. Stay with me for a few minutes. We will turn the mountain into steps. You will leave this chapter with a clear 90-day roadmap close enough to start walking. Do not climb a mountain in one stride. Climb it by 30, 60, and 90-day stations. Do not chase inspiration. Follow milestones. Do not count hope. Count evidence. Picture an interstate highway in the United States. Mile markers stand at steady intervals with rest stops glowing warm yellow. You do not need to see the horizon. You only need to see the next sign. You once set the goal, write a book, then stopped at the title page. You once promised to lose weight, then stumbled during your busiest week. You once said learn a new skill, then got lost in 10 unopened courses. The problem is not the dream. The problem is the distance. Distance too long makes the brain choose escape. So we pull the target closer. Break 5 years into single years. Break each year into 90-day sprints with a name with levers, with check marks. Not one giant leap, but many small steps. Not foggy hopes, but dated sprints. Not later, but today. But wait, does a 90-day sprint mean going crazy? No. A sprint is a focused cadence with rest stops and checkpoints. You run solid, not scorched. Now think, if 5 years is a cross-continent journey, a 90-day sprint is one state. You cross one state, and at the border, you adjust your pace. Your heart needs a small story to understand. Imagine you stand at the trailhead at dawn. Cold mist, thin wind, the path a thread on green. Your backpack is light. Inside is a folded map, 3 near checkpoints circled. Each has water, a time target, and one small self-applause marker. You begin. Do not look at the summit. Look at checkpoint 1. At the checkpoint, you take a deep breath. You mark a check on your trail card. The corner of your mouth lifts a little. You walk on. A steep stretch comes. You slow down but do not stop. You say to yourself, just get around this bend. The sun rises. The path is bright enough. Checkpoint 2 appears at a comforting distance. This is not for decoration. It is how the brain works. The brain needs a near station so it does not fear the far road. Not vague but visible markers. Not hold everything but hold what fits in your hand. Not straining everywhere, but pushing in the right spot. Now name your first sprint. Choose a name that makes you want to step in each morning. For example, quarter 1. Build the foundation for health and core skills. Now think, if this sprint lasts 90 days, what is the 30-day mark? What is the 60-day mark? 3 stations calm the brain. It must know where it will stop for water. It must know where it will be checked so it can trust itself. Sketch it in words before you write it down. Days 1 to 30, lock the daily rhythm. Days 31 to 60, raise the difficulty slightly. Days 61 to 90, verify and package small results. Clear cadence, calmer heart. You begin to believe you can keep the beat. Not showy, but practiced. Not explosive, but steady. Not when convenient, but on the time you set. Now the anchor moves. 1 sprint needs 3 anchor moves to generate thrust. Only 3 so you can focus. Move 1 is hours of study and absorption. Move 2 is hours of practice to build skill. Move 3 is small public output so you get feedback. If you are building writing as a skill, this sprint sets 60 hours of study, 30 hours of practice, 6 published pieces. It sounds big, but broken into days, it fits in your hand. If you are building health, this sprint sets 35 workouts, an average of 9,000 steps, and 90 days of going to bed before 11:30 at night. Pin the numbers to your calendar so they have a real home. Not do more, but commit to 3. Not scattered tries, but focused thrusts. Not vanity metrics, but behavior metrics. You ask, how do I avoid quitting halfway? 2 things keep you anchored. First, the 30, 60, and 90-day checkpoints. Second, a daily tracker with 3 check boxes, at most 3 actions per day. Do them, check them, do not exceed them. This board is not for showing off. It is for peace of mind. Each check mark is a little light at your feet. Picture the end of a day as you look at the board. 3 boxes, 2 checked, 1 empty. You know exactly whether to do one more thing or to sleep. Now for the 1 spark to start right now. It takes 3 to 5 minutes. The benefit is a clear, groundbreaking moment. No more hesitation. Take a sheet of paper, turn landscape. Write in large letters the 90-day sprint, start date to end date. Draw 3 small circles labeled 30, 60, 90 and ring them. Under the title, write 3 lines for the anchor moves you will follow. Do not overcalculate at this step. This is the first draft. After this chapter, you will attach numbers in your calendar to lock them in. You do not need perfect, you need presence. You do not need to be right immediately, you need to begin immediately. You do not need length, you need to show up on the page. But wait, what if you have too many goals? Choose 1 priority domain for this sprint. Other domains go into maintenance mode with your minimum standard. Maintenance means you do not drop them. You just do not make them the spearhead. You avoid being stretched thin. You save strength for the long road. You hesitate to commit because you fear breaking it. Use the never 2 in a row rule. Miss today, not tomorrow. You fear setting marks you might not hit. Set a minimum for each anchor move. The minimum is the bridge on bad days. The minimum for study is 10 minutes. The minimum for practice is 10 minutes. The minimum for output is 50 to 100 words. When things go well, go beyond the minimum. When things go poorly, keep the minimum. The chain lives on the minimum, not on perfection. Now think, 1 week from now, what will be in your hands? A sprint sheet in plain view, 3 circled columns, 3 lines of anchor moves. 14 days from now, what will be inside you? Less drifting off course. Fewer arguments with yourself. You stop asking, should I keep going? You start asking, what is the next action on the sprint? That is the calm of a person with a map. Let me tell one more small scene for your heart to remember. Monday morning, the sun is gentle. You open the sprint page and underline week 3, lock the practice rhythm. You put on your headphones. You start a 25-minute timer. You complete 1 small slice of an anchor move. In the evening, you look at the 3-box board. You check 1, you check 2, you consider the 3rd. You choose to sleep early so tomorrow's checks look better. Not better than others, but better than yesterday. Not more things, but the right things. Not noisy, but quietly compounding. So, put the sprint in the calendar. Do not leave it in your head. Create a repeating event sprint review Sunday, 15 minutes. That is when you type your numbers and make small adjustments for next week. Type by hand so the brain carves it in. Not I did quite a lot, but I did 320 minutes. Numbers quiet the noise of emotions. You want to turn up the power mid-sprint. Increase by only 10 to 20% every 30 days. If you overload, the cadence will break. Not intensity first, but consistency first. Not heroic bursts, but humble cadence. Not pressure, but presence. If you work with a team, share your sprint with someone you trust. Do not boast. Just say, this is the 30-day station. This is the 60-day station. Ask one question every Friday afternoon. Which anchor move truly advanced this week? If a bad week hits hard, pull the sprint back into maintenance for 7 days. Keep the minimums, keep your bedtime. Keep one small output, then ramp back up next week. You will notice a very calm shift. With a sprint, you dare to say no to things that do not serve it. You get pulled less by other people's calendars. Now think, if you keep 3 sprints, where will you be at 270 days? A steadier body, a deeper skill, a financial base that breathes easier. If you keep 5 sprints, where will you be at 450 days? You will no longer ask, how do I find motivation? You will ask, where is the next station? The trap for high performers is greed. Sprints teach restraint. They teach you to cut so you can go far. You may still love the feeling of a big burst. Save the burst for checkpoint days. On the checkpoint, you review the journey and give yourself a deliberate reward. A reward that does not break the rhythm. A reward that reminds you, I keep my word. You reward to reinforce identity, not to break the chain. But wait, must the 3 anchor moves stay fixed for 90 days? No. Adjust them at the 30-day mark. Cut what adds no force. Add what creates force. A sprint is alive, not concrete. It breathes with you. It changes pace with reality. When someone asks for the secret, you point to the sprint taped on the wall, the little 3-box board and the calendar with the Sunday review. You smile and say, I am not climbing the mountain in 1 step. Now your spark is on paper. Make it real in 5 more minutes. Open your calendar and set the 30, 60, and 90-day checkpoints right now. Name each checkpoint with a verb: stabilize, lift, verify. Give each one a color. Give each one a reminder. You have nailed them into your weeks. Today, you do not need to conquer the whole mountain. You only need to conquer 1 step, then 1 more. Each step is a vote for your future. Each check mark is a small light at your feet. The long road lights up with many small lights. You know exactly what to do when the video ends. Look at the landscape sheet titled Sprint. Write the start date, the end date, the 3 anchor moves, and tape it up. Tonight you go to bed 15 minutes earlier. Tomorrow morning you step onto the first stair. The day after you touch the checkpoint and smile. Do not climb a mountain in 1 stride. Climb it by stations. Do not dream of winning fast. Dream of winning in the right direction. Do not wait for the weather. Create the climate. I buy my future freedom starting today. Next day, we will talk about money as a river of compound interest. So each step has fuel, each effort has a timely reward, and freedom comes closer as a habit. Chapter 6, Long-Term Finances. Escape the instant gratification trap with compound interest. You are not broke because you cannot earn. You are exhausted because you do not know how to keep. At the end of the month, the wallet is empty. At the start of the month, you make promises again. By mid-month, you give up. Money follows your moods, and then your moods follow your debt. Stay with me for a few minutes. We will change the direction of your money from burning out to multiplying. You will leave this chapter with a 3-account system, a 24-hour rule, and a steady financial study hour. Not spending for a quick thrill, but buying future freedom. Not burning money, but letting money make money. Not chasing red tag deals, but chasing compound interest. Picture a Friday payday in the United States. The paycheck hits the card swipes like the wind, the online cart rises like a wave. On Sunday, you count the numbers, feel as cold as dawn, and on Monday, you realize the account is already near empty. But hold on. Same salary, same Friday night. Only one change: the money moves automatically before your emotions can cut in. Not emotion first, but system first. Not swipe first, but save first. Not treats first, but freedom first. Now think about this. Where does the money flow when the paycheck lands? If you do not direct it, advertising will. So we set up a 3-account system today. 1 daily spend account. 1 safety account for emergencies. 1 growth account to invest in yourself so money becomes skills and opportunities. Give them short, readable names. Spend daily, safe emergency, grow self-investment. Why separate them? Because the brain needs its own rails for each purpose. If everything is mixed, emotions win. If it is split 3 ways, standards win. The money arrives on Monday. Transfer automatically on Monday morning before you have time to celebrate. 1 transfer to safe, 1 transfer to grow, and the rest stays in spend. What percentages feel workable? Starter suggestion, 60%, spend 20%, safe 20%, grow. If things are tight, begin with 70-15-15 for 30 days, then adjust. Not one-time willpower, but weekly autopilot. Not guesswork, but percentages. Not later, but Monday. Picture 1 month later. The difference is not a giant number. It is the feeling of being in charge. You open your banking application and see 3 neat lines, not a blur. But wait, what is invest in yourself? Not only stocks or funds. It can be a skill course, a professional book, a work tool, or a certification you need. Grow is the bag that feeds your future earning power. When your ability rises, income can rise and your percentages can change. You are not buying things. You are buying options. Now, the 24-hour rule. For any purchase greater than 1% of monthly income, pause for 24 hours before pressing buy. Your brain gets time to cool. You get time to choose. Why 1%? Because it is a small line that is big enough to wake you up. 1 short delay saves you from many long regrets. You see headphones on flash sale today only. Breathe deep. Set a reminder for 24 hours later to decide. If tomorrow you still need it and it serves your 5-year vision, buy it. If it is only a 5-second thrill, smile and skip it. You just kept a piece of future freedom. Not impulse, but interval. Not urgency, but clarity. Not the deal ends tonight, but freedom begins today. Now for the financial study hour. 2 sessions per week, 30 minutes each. Not long, but steady. What to study? The basics. The 50-30-20 budget idea of 3 to 6 month emergency reserve, what compound interest is. How to read a statement, how interest rates work, how to avoid hidden fees. Tuesday at 7:30 in the evening, you sit down with a foundation video or a chapter. Thursday at 7:30 in the evening, you practice review spending, refine 1 automatic transfer, or learn a new term. You do not feel overwhelmed because you have a schedule and a time limit. Not more hustle, but better handling. Not big leaps, but steady literacy. Not hype, but habit. Let us get cinematic for a moment so your heart remembers. Picture yourself in the kitchen at night, warm light, sink empty. You set the laptop on the table, open your banking application, and see 3 accounts lined up like a proper formation. You tap transfer recurring. Monday at 8 in the morning, Safe receives 15%. Monday at 8:01 in the morning, Grow receives 15%. You tap Save. You feel something rare, a long exhale, as if someone cleared out the voices whispering, buy it in your head. You close the lid. You take a 10-minute walk around the block. You do not buy anything yet. You feel you just bought a little piece. Now think it through. After 1 year of keeping the rhythm safe reaches 3 to 6 months of living costs. Grow has funded several key skill programs. When trouble comes, you do not panic. When opportunity comes, you do not miss it. Not rich overnight, but steady today. Not a life changed in one night, but a direction changed each day. Not swipe harder, but cast a smarter vote with every dollar. You may ask about debt. If you have credit card debt, add a priority debt payment line from Spend and temporarily lower Grow. Once high-interest balances are reduced, raise Grow again to recover future speed. Do not be ashamed of debt. Debt is simply a story not yet rewritten. You are rewriting it with 3 accounts, 1 24-hour rule, and 2 short study nights. Not shame, but structure. Not blame, but plan. Not fear, but flow. 1 spark to flip on in 5 minutes. The benefit is a clear hook before emotions wake up. Open your banking application, rename 3 accounts, or create 3 sub-accounts labeled Spend, Safe, and Grow. Set a calendar reminder. Auto transfer Monday at 8 in the morning right now. Write in the description 15%, Safe 15%. Grow Adjust after 30 days. When the bell rings, you confirm once. Then let it run weekly. If your bank does not support it, use an automatic transfer from your debit account or the rules feature in your financial technology service. The important part is that money moves out of reach before the advertisement arrives. The system beats emotion every time. Next, clear financial bait on the phone. Turn off flash sale notifications except for one application you truly need. Send marketing emails into a label named after 8 in the evening and read them as a controlled reward. Not banning fun, but scheduling fun. Not zero shopping, but smart shopping. Not guilt, but order. Picture the first week. On Monday, the money splits itself. On Tuesday, you study compound interest for 30 minutes and watch the curve bend slowly, then sharply after many years. On Thursday, you study fees for 30 minutes and can answer what is the difference between APR and APY. On the weekend, you apply the 24-hour rule and skip a today-only deal. Sunday night, you write 3 lines of notes and go to bed 15 minutes earlier. You ask, when may I raise the percentages? After 30 steady days, raise both safe and grow by 2 to 5% if life still feels comfortable. Increase slowly so your lifestyle can adapt without snapping back like a rubber band. Not sprinting money, but training money. Not a crash diet, but a compounding diet. Not deprivation, but design. If you live on weekly paychecks, keep the auto transfer every Monday to reset from the start. Any overtime that week goes straight to Save or Grow. Do not let it sit and spin. If your household has 2 incomes, each person keeps their 3 small buckets, then you add a shared safe family board with a target of 3 to 6 months of household costs. Clarity calms the heart, and a calm heart calms the wallet. Now imagine this. A scholarship appears a workshop fee for a pivotal training or a tool that speeds up your work. Grow smiles, I have been waiting for you. A tire blows out, a flight gets delayed, an unexpected medical bill arrives. Safe opens the door, go through me, not through the credit card. You feel calm because there is a path. No one knows what the future brings, but the person with a system can carry themselves through. You no longer chase money, you direct money. Therefore, tonight do 3 light actions. Rename 3 accounts or create 3 buckets. Set auto transfer Monday at 8 in the morning. Write 1 line to remind yourself the 24-hour rule for any purchase above 1% of monthly income. Tomorrow morning, confirm the automatic transfers. Tomorrow evening, study compound interest for 30 minutes. The day after, review the statement and delete extra shopping bait from your phone. You will feel yourself becoming calmly wealthy step by step. Calmly wealthy means you know what your money does while you sleep. Calmly wealthy means you know whether every dollar is voting for freedom or for anxiety. Not richer someday, but calmer today. Not perfect finances, but present discipline. Not luck, but design you can repeat. And when someone asks for the secret, you do not brag about income. You point to 3 accounts, a 24-hour rule, and 2 short study nights. They shake their head. Is it really that simple? You smile, simple but steady. Be steady and compound interest will say the rest. I buy my future freedom starting today. Next day, we will talk about durable core skills where money fuels ability and ability multiplies money so the flywheel of freedom grows without impulsiveness. Chapter 7. Durable core skills. Go deep instead of collecting certificates. You are not falling behind because you are not smart. You are falling behind because every skill is halfway done. Walls full of badges, but results still empty. Stay with me for a few minutes. We will choose 1 lever strong enough to move your life. You will leave this chapter with 1 core skill, a clear deep work schedule, and an easy, repeatable, deep practice loop. Not collecting badges, but building capability. Not learning to know, but training to do. Not chasing new courses, but repeating the right drill until it becomes craftsmanship. Picture a late evening. The screen glows, course tabs line up like a street of neon. You hit add to cart heart racing, and 1 month later, lesson 1 is still unopened. Now think about this. Do you truly need more knowledge or do you need more repetitions? Does your brain lack a new halo or does it lack output as evidence? Not more courses, but more reps. Not shiny badges, but sharp skills. Not knowing, but doing. But wait, which skill should you bet on? Choose something with leverage that influences many tasks, increases income, or opens new doors. Write the reason in 50 words so your hand binds your heart to the choice. A 5-minute spark to power on. Set a timer. Write 50 words answering, why does this skill deserve 90 days? You need a compact why to remember when tired, to choose when busy, and to hold when bored. The why is an anchor. Anchors hold the boat through waves. Picture a few leveraged choices: specialized writing, persuasive speaking and presenting, data analysis for decision-making, product design and experience design, sales negotiation, building a network. Do not try to choose perfectly. Choose at the intersection of 3 circles. You have some talent. You feel genuine interest in the market pays. With all 3, you can go the distance. Now for the deep work schedule. 4 sessions each week, 60 minutes each. 1 skill, 1 window, 1 target. Why 60 minutes? Because the brain needs a minimum depth to enter the flow channel. Too short stays shallow. Too long burns you out. Choose the lowest noise time block. Early morning before the inbox, or evening after the home is quiet. Block the calendar like an appointment you cannot be late for. Give your core skill its own color. Set a reminder 10 minutes before to get in place. Not someday practice, but scheduled practice. Not random cramming, but rhythmic drilling. Not optional, but non-negotiable. Here is the 20-30-10 loop. 20 minutes to learn one narrow concept tied to your anchor move. 30 minutes to apply it immediately on a real exercise, real data, or a real draft. 10 minutes for feedback and a log entry. Score yourself with a clear rubric or ask someone experienced for a quick glance. No feedback, no progress. With feedback, every session climbs half a step. Keep the log in a single file. Date session objective score from 1 to 10, 1 line of lessons learned. After 4 weeks, you will see the curve rise in numbers, not in moods. Let us get cinematic so it sticks. Early morning, the city still dim. You place a glass of water, start instrumental music, open the file, skill, log.xlsx. You type the session goal, write a 150-word opening that clearly promises value. You study for 20 minutes on hook and promise. You close the video, open your document, and type for 30 minutes without breaking. The bell rings. You read aloud, mark weak sentences, do 1 pass of edits. You log score 6 out of 10 needs a more concrete example. You stand, breathe deep, smile just a little. There is no applause, but your craft just gained another thin layer. Not applause, but progress. Not fireworks, but a fireplace. Not hype, but heat. Are you afraid of boredom? Boredom is the signal that you have reached the hard zone. The hard zone is where skill jumps. When bored, change the setting, not the skill. Change the exercise, change the topic, change the environment, but keep the 20-30-10 loop. Are you afraid you will not get good fast enough? Mastery is not about being fast. Mastery is about being steady. Steady beats fast every day. Now think about this. Do you want to be paid for badges or for outcomes? The market pays for reliability, not for photographs of certificates. Do not change titles, change outputs. Do not brag about what you studied, ship what you built. Not I have learned, but I have delivered. Each month, choose 1 flagship output, 1 article, 1 dashboard, 1 design draft, 1 explainer video. Outputs have an audience. The audience is your manager, your readers, your users, or your future self in 6 months. With an audience comes feedback. With feedback comes a path to fix. Do you need a mentor? Nice to have, if not, build a rubric. A rubric is a 5 to 7 criteria scorecard, each criterion rated from 1 to 5. Example for writing: clarity, specificity, emotional pull. Call to action. You score today's session 13 out of 20. Next session, aim for 15 out of 20. Not fuzzy, but transparent. Not fearful, but measured. Not maybe, but the numbers say, are 4 sessions a week enough? Enough to create momentum. The rest is maintenance, short 10 to 20-minute touch-ups on busy days. If you slip for a week, return to the minimum for 7 days, 10 minutes of study, 10 minutes of practice, 5 minutes to log. Keep the chain alive, then bring back the 60-minute rhythm. Not perfection, but persistence. Not pride in the streak, but protection of the streak. Not all in, but always on. Should you drop old courses? If a course is not tied to your lever, demote it to reference material. Keep only one course riding with the current sprint. Should you learn another language or advance the core skill first? Prioritize the skill that creates value this week. A new language can live in the next sprint's grow bucket. The lever leads not random preference. Picture week 4. You open the log and see 12 morning sessions lit up. Average scores have climbed by 1 to 2 points, and you received a compliment for sharper outputs. Confidence does not come from luck. It comes from a chain of proof. You start introducing yourself by what you can deliver, not by the courses you watched. Another 5-minute spark to lock the schedule. Open your calendar. Create a repeating event, deep work course skill in 4 time blocks this week. Add the description 20-30-10 loop log immediately after the session. Set a reminder 10 minutes before. Dedicated color, dedicated icon, dedicated seat. Do not wait to be free. The new calendar creates the free. Free time is born from priority. You may want to share your journey publicly. Good but slow. Output first, story later. If you want social accountability, send your log to a trusted friend. 1 line is enough. 7 out of 10 today, tomorrow. I will fix the examples. Just enough to keep your word to someone else and therefore to yourself. Now think ahead. If you keep this core skill for 90 days, where will it push your career? Where do you want to stand in your field's ecosystem? Center or edge? Standard setter or standard chaser? Replaceable or hard to replace? Not more titles, but more trust. Not a louder profile, but clearer proof. Not wider hobbies, but deeper mastery. A final question for today. Does what I am doing in this 60-minute session serve me 5 years from now? If yes, sit down and start the timer. If no, sharpen the assignment. From study storytelling to write a 150-word opening for Video X. From study structured query language to write a query that returns the top 5 products by revenue. 1 clear session equals 1 week of vagueness. 1 clear log equals 10 rounds of self-praise. 1 clear output equals 100 certificates. Therefore, right after the video, do 3 very small things. Write 50 words of why for your core skill. Create 4 deep work slots this week. Prepare the log file for the 20-30-10 loop. Tomorrow run the first session. The next day ask for 1 short piece of feedback. By the weekend review your scores and raise 1 rubric criterion by 1 notch. You are building a person of value, not by luck, by depth. You are buying future freedom with each minute of practice today. Not 1 big day, many steady days. I buy my future freedom starting today. Next day, we will build your support system and accountability so you do not have to go alone. Feedback arrives on time and discipline becomes the work of your environment, not only your willpower. Chapter 8, Long-Term Relationships Plant Trust, Avoid Cheap Compromise. You are not lonely because you lack acquaintances. You are lonely because you lack people who trust you. Promising for fun is easy. Keeping your word is hard. Stay with me for a few minutes. We will shift from connecting to planting trust. You will leave this chapter with a list of 5 people, a 1-to-1 touch schedule, and a habit of sending steady value. Not talking cleverly, but doing correctly. Not burning bridges, but building them. Not hunting shortcuts, but walking the solid road. Picture a rushed coffee meeting. You speak in polished lines, they nod politely, and then they disappear from your life like a notification that scrolls away. The relationship is thin as paper and a light touch tears it. But hold on. What if every touch you made left a trace of reliability? What if your name always came with the words keeps promises? Not more contacts, but deeper trust. Not quick favors, but quiet value. Not promises, but proofs. Now think about this. You have said, let me help, and then forgot. You have said, I will check in later, and then your calendar swallowed the day. The fault is not in your heart. The fault is in your system. Without a system, feelings drag you around. So we build a very lean trust system. 3 pieces, 1 rhythm, a critical list, one-to-one touch points, and value sent without asking for anything back. Let us go cinematic so your heart remembers. Late evening, a quiet living room, warm lamplight. You open a notebook and write 5 names that make your life go farther when they are strong. The first name is a mentor who opened a door for you. The second is a colleague who is sharp and kind. The third is a younger friend full of fire who could use a steady hand. The fourth is a potential partner not yet collaborating but clearly trustworthy. The fifth is a family member or friend you owe a thank you. You look at the 5 names and see a network of responsibility, not a list of requests. Not who will help me, but what can I do for them? Not take once, but sow for many seasons. Not close for speed, but fit for durability. One spark you can fire in 5 minutes. Open a note and write the 5 most important names for this week. Under each name, add 1 short line. What can I do for them in the next 7 days? The benefit is a mindset shift from asking to contributing before any conversation begins. When the mind has a clear assignment, it does not drift. You enter the week with relationship targets that are specific. Now the one-to-one schedule. Each week, 30 minutes for 1 person on the list. No noise, no group, just 1 thoughtful conversation. Book the time when they can breathe. Arrive on time, leave on time. Ask more than you tell, listen more than you prove. Do not display knowledge. Ask about needs. Do not parade achievements. Touch the problem they actually have. Do not say maybe later. Lock in 1 small action you will take after the meeting. If you work in data, you might say, I have 30 minutes free this week. Let me help you make that report show the insights more clearly. Or you send a short resource exactly where they are stuck. Not networking, but stewardship. Not charm, but consistency. Not loud, but reliable. You are afraid of being too busy. Then block a fixed slot in a light part of your week. Wednesday at 7:30 in the morning or Sunday at 4 in the afternoon. When the calendar has space, the heart has space. Without a slot, the day will wash the relationship away. You keep quality because you made time. Now commit to promise less, keep more. Each day write 1 promise and check it at day's end. The promise can be very small. Send document A before 5 in the afternoon. Reply to email B within 24 hours. Why small? Because small helps you be exact. Exact builds trust. Use 1 line at the bottom of your to-do. Promise followed by 1 sentence. At night, add a check mark if done, or reschedule with 1 clear reason in 1 line. Do not reschedule without limits. Reschedule with bounds. Do not go silent. Notify in advance. Do not circle around. Be direct. Break the rule today if you must. Keep the standard tomorrow. Never 2 misses in a row. The trust chain must not snap because of 1 wave of feeling. Picture a warm one-to-one. You sit across from them, phone placed face down. You ask what has weighed on you most this week. They talk about a deadline, a report, a tense meeting. You do not rush into advice. You ask for details, ask for data, ask for the outcome they want. Then you offer 1 small action within reach. Let me tighten your slides to 3 key points tonight. You go home, spend 20 minutes, send it on time, and ask for no credit. The next day they text, thank you, the meeting flowed. You reply, I am glad. Tell me the results next week. Your name now travels with reliable. Not talk more, but show up. Not a one-time favor, but repeated presence. Not image, but integrity. Now the weekly value email. 1 email, 1 resource, no ask. Right person, right time, right need. Share a clean template, a short checklist, or a distilled article. Write briefly 1 short paragraph on why it helps, include the link, and add, if you need it, I can help for 15 minutes to get it in place. No selling, no strings, just plant a point of trust. But hold on, do not blast everyone. Choose 1 person from the 5 names. Put the result in the subject line, not big adjectives. For example, 7-point checklist to make meetings 20% faster, or request template that reduces back and forth emails. They open it because their day will be easier. Not everyone will reply immediately. True, many people are busy and calendars are heavy. So set a reminder to follow up after 7 days with one gentle question. Have you tried it yet? Is there one part I can unblock for you? Not pushing, just helping. You walk alongside, you do not walk for them. Now think it through. After 1 month, you have 4 one-to-ones, 4 value emails, and 30 check marks for kept promises. You begin to feel the trust thread growing thicker. Not every connection will become deep, but the ones that do will be real. Real relationships endure. You ask, how do I avoid cheap compromise? Hang one sentence in front of you. Do not trade long-term value for short-term approval. When someone asks you to bend your principles, take one deep breath. Ask, does this serve me in 5 years? If no, decline politely and propose a version that meets the standard. If yes, commit clearly and write down today's promise. You just protected your identity while keeping the relationship. Not pleasing, but partnering. Not people-pleasing, but principle-keeping. Not quick yes, but qualified yes. You will meet takers who do not give. Let the time filter do its work. Offer 1 or 2 small contributions, and if there is no response, widen the spacing. Long-term relationships require both sides. Dragging someone who will not walk is exhaustion. Save your energy for those who share the direction. One small method to remember names and what they care about. After each one-to-one, write 3 bullets, what they are pursuing, what they fear, and 1 everyday detail. Next week, when you reconnect, mention 1 detail and they will feel seen. Picture Friday evening. You open the trust log. You write 3 lines, what I promised, what I did, what I sent. You see 4 out of 5 check marks for the week and you smile. Not to brag, but because you are trustworthy. Trustworthiness is an asset. A second spark still within 5 minutes if you have momentum. Draft a value email of 5 to 6 sentences to send tomorrow morning. Set a reminder for 9 in the morning and start the day by contributing, not by asking. It does not have to be a big resource. 1 short link, 1 summary, paragraph, 1 closing line. If you need it, I can help for 15 minutes. You train your brain to give with design. You worry, what do I have that is worth sharing? Share what you just learned this week. Fresh learning is fresh memory, and fresh memory makes for clear teaching. You fear being mistaken for showing off. Do not add a request after each share. Send it and disappear quietly. Not ask, but add. Not posture, but presence. Not noise, but help. At the end of the month, review the 5 names. Who needs more frequency? Who should be spaced out? Update the list. Keep at most 5 to 7 critical people so quality does not drop. Too many becomes thin. You will notice something strange. When you keep your word to others, you trust yourself more. When you keep your word to yourself, others trust you more. Trust travels both ways and meets in the middle. In the middle is credibility. Credibility is the real shortcut in a world addicted to fake shortcuts. Therefore, tonight do 3 simple actions. Write 5 names and 1 thing you will do for each person. Block 30 minutes for person number 1 this week. Pre-write 1 value email and set a reminder to send it. Tomorrow, check your first promise. The next day, show up to the one-to-one on time and leave on time. By the weekend, add 3 lines to the trust log. You are building bridges. Not bridges of one night, but bridges of many seasons. Each span is a promise kept. You do not need to know the entire world. You need a few people who trust you. You need to become a person who is trustworthy. I buy my future freedom starting today. Next day, we will build a support system and accountability. So teammates pull you in the right direction, feedback arrives on time, and discipline becomes the work of your environment, not only your willpower. Chapter 9, Discipline by Calendar. A system that beats inspiration. You do not lose because you are lazy. You lose because you say tomorrow. Tomorrow gets busy, the chain breaks, you blame yourself, and the slide gets steeper. You make promises to your pillow, not to your calendar. Stay with me for a few minutes. We will shift from willpower to system. You will leave this chapter with a golden block, a 2-minute rule, and an X chain in plain sight. Not relying on willpower, but relying on system. Not waiting for inspiration to arrive, but working until inspiration arrives. Not shouting slogans, but placing non-negotiable time on the calendar. Picture a soft gray Monday morning. The phone buzzes like a hailstorm. The inbox stacks like low clouds. You say later than at lunch, then tonight, and the day vanishes like smoke. But hold on, there is another way not to let the morning swallow you. You lock the first 60 minutes of the day for your single most important thing. You tell the world, I am busy meeting my future. Not later, but first. Not maybe, but must. Not mood, but schedule. The golden block is 60 minutes after you wake up. It is a quiet garden for long-term seeds. No one walks into the garden while you are tending it. Why 60 minutes? Because the brain needs time long enough to build momentum, but not so long that it gets scared. Depth just right makes the work flow without breaking. Choose the time right after you wash your face and drink water, before opening messages, before opening social media. You enter the work as a ritual, not as a feeling. Now think about this. If the most important work happens while your willpower is fresh, how much lighter will the rest of the day feel? Not I will do it tonight because night belongs to exhaustion. Not I will do it on the weekend because weekends belong to other people. This morning, right after you wake up, belongs to you. Let us get cinematic so your heart remembers. The alarm stops, dawn is not fully bright, the room is still. You stand, do 3 stretches, drink a glass of water. You place the phone face down and open your notebook. You write 1 line, golden block, 60 minutes. You open the main document, breathe deep, and type the first line. 5 minutes pass. Resistance cracks like thin ice. 15 minutes pass. Your hands find rhythm. At 45 minutes, you are on a road with only you and the work. At 60 minutes, a soft chime. You put a period, hit save, and allow yourself a small smile. The day suddenly has a backbone, and the rest is just muscle. Not perfect output, but protected time. Not a giant leap, but a daily anchor. Not someday, but today. But wait, if this morning still feels heavy, use the 2-minute rule. Begin the task within 120 seconds, no matter how you feel. What is the benefit? The brain has no time left to invent reasons. The body moves, the feelings follow. Open the file, set the title. Write the first sentence, press start on the timer. That is a beginning. You win the direction in the first 2 minutes of the day. Not feel, then do, but do, then feel. Not wait for a spark, but create a spark. Not delay, but deploy. You will ask, what if my streak breaks? We do not say never break. We say never 2 in a row. That is the X chain on your wall calendar. What is the X chain? 1 big square for each day, 1 thick marker, 1 bold X after every golden block. You can see your rhythm. You do not have to guess. Why a wall calendar? Because eyes need a daily signal and hands need the feeling of drawing a strong line. The small pleasure of the X is the right reward for the right habit. Do not allow 2 empty days in a row. If today slips, protect tomorrow at all costs. The chain lives on tomorrow, not on yesterday. Picture your workspace. On the left, a wall calendar with X marks running like a red thread. On the right, a note that reads, 2 minutes to start 60 minutes protected. Each morning, you simply perform the garden ritual. Chair set, lamp on phone face down. 2 minutes to start 60 minutes to go far. Not hustle theater, but a habit engine. Not aimless grind, but a guarded groove. Not pressure, but presence. Here is a 1 spark you can fire in 5 minutes. The benefit is a steel bolt in your day before feelings wake up. Open your calendar and create an event golden block 60 minutes after waking. Choose a strong color, set a reminder 10 minutes beforehand, and add the note 2 minutes start non-negotiable. Set it to repeat every day for 30 days. You just signed a contract with your future by pressing 1 button. Next, clear the obstacles. 1 sentence, 1 move. Phone face down during the golden block. If you must use a computer, open only the file you need and close every other tab. Turn on a blocker for 60 minutes. You can roam after that. Not fighting each temptation, but locking the gate at the start. Not asking willpower, but asking design. Not punishment, but protection. Now think. If you keep the golden block for 7 days, you have 7 foundation bricks. If you keep it for 4 weeks, you have a wall strong enough to block the wind. Broken streaks happen, saved streaks matter. Save them with tomorrow must have an X. Not a shame spiral, but a reset ritual. Not blame, but repair. Not quit, but a quiet return. Let us add one more scene so the rhythm sticks. Late evening, you're tired and want to skip tomorrow morning. You stand before the wall calendar and look at the line of X marks like a red thread. You place your hand on tomorrow's empty square. You whisper only 2 minutes to start. Then you go to bed 15 minutes earlier as a promise. Morning comes, the alarm rings. You roll out of bed without arguing. Water chair lamp file. 2 minutes, then 5, then 10, then 60. When the chime sounds, you draw a new X exhale and smile. You just beat yourself at the smallest curve. The steep hills behind you suddenly look lower. You do not need speeches with yourself. You need humility with your calendar. The calendar is gentle, but it wins. You ask, what should I do in the golden block? Do the work that serves the next 5 years. If you are not sure, use the first 10 minutes to write a clear assignment. A clear assignment is half the job. The other half is to sit still and work. Be still, first work next, and motivation will arrive. Not chaotic multitasking, but a single mission. Not scattered minutes, but a stacked hour. Not busyness, but progress. You worry that with small children, mornings are hard to fix. Then move the golden block to a fixed golden hour that you can actually protect. It can be 9 at night as long as it is locked and kept. You worry that your shifts rotate, then set a golden hour by shift still 60 minutes after you wake. The schedule changes, the ritual does not. Now for a data-driven tune-up. At week's end, spend 10 minutes reviewing 7x squares. If there are 2 blanks, ask, where is the bottleneck? Is the time too early? Is the assignment too vague? Is the room too noisy? Fix the right spot. Do not scold yourself. Fix to continue, not to quit. Add one small aid. Set a mid-block chime at minute 30. Lift your head, adjust posture, breathe deep, and return to the groove. You want some social fuel? Photograph the X calendar every Sunday and send it to a trusted friend. One line only 6 out of 7 this week. Next week, never 2 in a row. Not a public show, but a private standard. Not external applause, but internal pride. Not a dopamine hit, but the heat of discipline. You can make the golden block a pleasant ritual. A dedicated glass of water, a light candle, scent, an instrumental playlist. Your brain will recognize it is time to enter the garden and open the gate faster. Do not forget to end the block with a small win point. Write 1 line what I did and 1 line what comes next. Tomorrow morning, you only need to continue the sentence. Therefore, right now, do 3 very small things. Lock golden block 60 minutes after waking on your calendar for 30 days. Hang a wall calendar where you can see it and place a thick marker beside it. Write a small note, 2-minute start, non-negotiable, and stick it on your screen. Tomorrow, you do not need a battle cry. You only need to do the first 2 minutes. Then the 60 minutes will flow. When people ask for the secret, you do not tell an inspiration story. You point to the calendar and the red X marks. After 1 month, you will notice this. Inspiration arrives because you work, not the other way around. Morning opens because your hand touches the doorknob every day. Not waiting for motivation, but manufacturing momentum. Not big drama, but quiet rhythm. Not hero days, but honest days. You are strong not because you never dip. You are strong because you still show up on time. Show up and the magic follows. I buy my future freedom starting today. Next day, we will bolt on a support and accountability system so your environment and teammates carry half the discipline, feedback arrives on time, and the long road feels less lonely. Chapter 10. Verify and raise the standard feedback course, corrections, bigger horizons. You do not drift off course because you are lazy. You drift because you do not measure. A few degrees off today becomes miles off after a season. Stay with me for a few minutes. We will turn on the lights for the road you're on. You will leave this chapter with a review schedule, a stop and start page, and a 90-day rhythm for raising your standards. Not number blind, but number aware. Not unconscious repetition, but conscious improvement. Not more doing, but doing it right. Picture a runner in fog. Runs hard, runs steady, but never looks at the watch. At week's end, did I improve? And only feelings answer. But hold on. What if each week you knew exactly where you improved? What if each quarter you raised one notch that actually lasts? What if each day you corrected the course by 1%? Not more hustle, but clearer feedback. Not louder effort, but a tighter loop. Not blind routine, but visible improvement. Now think, you have a golden block. You have an X chain. They will lose power without a spotlight. The spotlight turns habits into a learning system. A learning system turns effort into an upward curve. So we lock a Sunday review for 30 minutes, only 30 minutes, but it steers the whole next week. Let us get cinematic so your heart remembers. Sunday afternoon, slanting sunlight, the kitchen still warm. You set down a glass of water, open the calendar, open your numbers, open the log file. You look at the three familiar rails: health, skills, relationships. Each rail has three small numbers. You type in the past week: sleep hours, steps, workouts; study hours, practice hours, outputs shipped; conversation minutes, one-to-one meetings, thank you sent. Numbers appear like footprints in wet sand. You see the path instead of guessing. Do not judge, observe. Do not scold, adjust. Do not compare to others, compare to last week. Now for the stop and start page. Write 3 things to stop. Write 3 things to start next week. Why stop? Because adding new without removing old is a recipe for burnout. Stopping frees bandwidth to start in the right place. For example, stop opening email before the golden block. Stop replying to messages the instant they arrive. Stop staying up past 11:30 at night unless there is a genuine exception. Start 10 minutes to write the assignment before the block. Start 10-minute walk after dinner. Start 3-line log right after each deep work session. Not endless adding, but wise swapping. Not stacking chaos, but trading habits. Not guilt, but governance. You will ask, how do I know what to stop? Find the biggest choke point of the week, a habit that leaks time or a trigger that pulls you away from the 5-year path. Underline it. Pick a simple fix. Try exactly one small change next week. Remember the 2-dot rule. 1 dot is an incident. 2 dots make a pattern. Do not let one bad day indict the whole system. Look at 2 straight weeks before flipping strategy. That is how you balance flexibility and persistence. Next, raise the standard every 90 days. Raise by 10 to 20% in intensity or in quality, just enough for your hands, your lungs, and your life. You can raise duration from 60 minutes of deep work to 70 to 72 minutes. Or raise quality from write 100 words to write 100 words with a concrete example. You can raise the sleep standard from 11:30 at night down to 11 at night, from 7,000 steps up to 8,000 steps. Not a spike, but a step. Not bravado, but calibration. Not sprinting forever, but moving in seasons. But hold on. Raising the standard is not for self-punishment. It is to lift the ceiling gently. Durability is the priority, not instant trophies. If life gets turbulent, drop to the minimum for 7 to 14 days. Keep the chain alive, then bring the rhythm back after the wave passes. Here is a very lean 30-minute review formula. 10 minutes for check the numbers, 10 minutes for tell the story, 10 minutes for decide. 3 beats, 3 questions, 3 lines. Check the numbers, ask, did I do enough? Tell the story, ask what actually happened. Decide, ask what small change next week packs the biggest punch. Write 3 closing lines, 1 thing to keep, 1 thing to stop, 1 thing to start. You do not need pretty prose, you need clarity. With clarity, Monday begins with less fumbling. Picture another short scene. You read the skill log.lsx. Scores 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, then 7 out of 10 this week. You see a pattern appear. Whenever the assignment is concrete, the score rises. Whenever the assignment is vague, the score drops. You write on the start page, always write a 10-minute assignment. You write on the stop page. Do not open email before the block. You close the notebook and feel your shoulders drop. Not more effort, but better framing. Not push harder, but pull smarter. Not random fixes, but repeatable rules. Now a 1 spark to lock the rhythm in 5 minutes. The benefit is a date with your future sitting on the calendar. Open your calendar and create a repeating event, Sunday review, 30 minutes. Set it for 5 in the afternoon or 8:30 at night, whichever is calmer at home. Add a 3-line checklist in the description. Check the numbers, tell the story, decide. Set a reminder 10 minutes before. If you review on paper, use a single sheet for the entire quarter. Each Sunday, open to the same page and write in the same places. Do not let the review become a self-scolding session. The review is a drive session. You are the driver, not the defendant. Now think, the week you do not review is a drifting week. The week you do review is a sharpened week. After 1 month, your life map looks brighter. After the next quarter, your capability feels thicker. After a year, your identity looks clearer. You can add an external checkpoint. A mentor gives feedback every 30 to 60 days, or a 15-minute peer review with an accountability partner. Put evidence on the table first. Hours, outputs, adjustments already made. Ask for one line of advice, not a lecture. Not validation seeking, but calibration seeking. Not approval, but alignment. Not ego, but evolution. You ask, when do I know it is time for a big strategy change? When 2 quarters in a row, the numbers do not budge despite small fixes. When emotional cost rises faster than benefit. Then change the question, not just the tool. From what more can I add to what can I remove? From how do I go faster to how do I go truer? Be still for 30 seconds. Hear this line. Evidence decides belief. Feelings do not decide evidence. When new evidence is thick enough, old belief dissolves. You no longer argue with yourself. You read the numbers and steer. Not number blind, but number aware. Not unconscious repetition, but conscious improvement. Not progress by luck, but progress by design. If you fear numbers will make life dry, think of numbers as the heartbeat of the system. A steady beat does not make you stiff. It makes you durable. Finally, raising the standard is the reward for consistency. Not for boasting, it is so the ceiling stops being a ceiling. Every 90 days, ask 3 questions. Where can I raise 10 to 20% and still breathe? Where can I remove noise so the rhythm runs smoother? Which quality criterion can I add so the output cuts sharper? Examples for writing, add the criterion no more than 3 sentences per paragraph. Add the criterion each example must touch real life. Examples for training, add tempo to the main set. Add 10 minutes of mobility after the main session. Examples for relationships. Send a 5-sentence summary after each one-to-one. Add repeat promises with a specific timestamp. Not more noise, but higher notes. Not random add-ons, but elegant upgrades. Not brute force, but refined force. Therefore, tonight do 3 light actions. Lock a Sunday review 30 minutes with a 3-line checklist. Create a stop and start page for next week. Mark the 90-day date on your calendar to raise a standard by 10 to 20%. Tomorrow you will not only work, you will know why you work, how you are progressing, and where to adjust. You will enter the week with a steady hand on the wheel and a wider view. You do not need to shout. You need to count small. You need to fix steadily. 1 year from now, you will realize this. You do not need to run faster than others. You only need to measure right and raise right. I buy my future freedom starting today. Next day, we enter the final anthem to tie everything into one big promise, one wake-up rhythm, and one button you will press within the next 24 hours. You have come full circle. From spotting the instant gratification trap to choosing the long road. From resetting your environment to lighting a 5-year lighthouse. You have turned the mountain into 90-day steps. You have taught your money to make more money. You have chosen one skill to practice deeply, not a wall of badges to collect. You have planted trust instead of making cheap compromises. You have staked a golden block so the system beats inspiration. You have learned to review, correct your course, and raise the standard every 90 days. Picture yourself after 1 year. A calendar with a red X chain running long, a logbook thickening like wood grain. Not loud but warm and steady. Not fireworks but a fireplace. Not chasing luck but designing it. Not waiting for inspiration but creating inspiration. Not talking well but doing it right. Not someday but today. So do not let this chapter be only sound. Turn it into a life structure. Turn it into a promise with a timestamp. Now think, within 24 hours, what will be your vote for the future? one 60-minute golden block, or an auto transfer on Monday morning, or one value email sent to the right person, or your first 20-30-10 deep work session. Choose one, just one, then do it now. You do not need perfection. You need to show up. Show up and the magic will follow. If you fear slipping, shrink it to a 5-minute minimum. If you are tired, move slowly but keep the direction. If you are happy, still check one small box before bed. But hold on. Before you leave, ask one question. Does what I'm about to do serve me in 5 years? If it does, lock it on the calendar. You are rewriting your life with tiny dots. Each dot is a steady breath. Each steady breath is a longer stride. You have nothing to prove to anyone. You only need to prove it to your tomorrow. Tomorrow will answer with calm. Come back here whenever you feel lost. Read your 200-word letter again. Touch the 3 base numbers again. Lift your eyes to the lighthouse. Place your hand on the step. Go on lightly but surely. Within the next 24 hours, let the future hear you. One click on the calendar. One line in the log. One new X. I buy my future freedom starting today.